So we're gonna go deep today. Kathy reached out and wanted me to do a presentation more around like production. It's a big topic that we can go in many different directions on, but the presentation that I gave, I think it was about probably about 9 months ago in Canada, to our Canadian honey badgers up in Toronto area. I got really good feedback from it, and it was based off of my journey last year. And I'll describe what that was. And then I gave it again at the Aspen Mastermind for the Fast Forward group. And they invited me to speak, and I gave the same one, just tweaked it a little bit, and again, it went over pretty good. So I figured, maybe I'll share it with you guys, and you'll get some nuggets out of it. And hopefully, it does resonate somewhere with where you're at in your business and your life. And yeah, I named it the Honey Badger Soul. So last year, 2025 was a big growth year for me on a personal and level, which always bleeds into your professional life. And I believe if we can't take care of where we're at in our mind, body, and soul, and our personal, we're not going to really be able to get everything hitting on all cylinders in our business. At least that's how it's been for me. So that's where this is all stemmed from, and I want to share that journey with you. And hopefully, at the end, it's going to sort of make sense into what you can actually do. I'm going to give you guys the ability to write your anthem for the rest of this year and hopefully years to come, with some very easy AI prompts that I was taught by my friend Nick Krem. So I want to give credit to where credit's due. At the end of this, you're going to be able to copy and paste a lot of these prompts. And if you'd like to take screenshots of them, you can at the end. But leading up to it, I'm going to share with you a few things of what brought me to creating these things that ultimately has reprogrammed my mind differently on how I approach my personal life and of course business moving forward. So that's what we're going to talk about. So who knows this guy? Anybody know Mr. Winston
Winston
Churchill?
Churchill.
Winston Churchill, and he's very famous for he was in they were World War II. They were in basically the fight of their life. Their backs were up against the wall. They really had an option here to just kind of cave or keep going. And Churchill's famous for this quote: "We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills." Really powerful speech he gave, and he ended it with this: "But we shall never surrender." And that's kind of been a big motto and cornerstone for just me. I felt like I was kind of coming into this business. I was in like this survival mode. I mean, it's dog eat dog. I mean, when I was licensed in '98, it was not the same environment that we have today. We were kind of coming out of, I don't know if anyone else on here has been licensed that long, but in the 80s and 90s, real estate was not what it is today. I'm not talking about the technology and stuff like that. I'm talking about the teams weren't really a big thing then. Culture in these real estate offices back in the 80s. My dad was a real estate agent, and as a little kid, he'd take me into his Century 21, and it was a brutal environment. Was anybody like ever step foot in the 80s, 90s into a real estate office? It was very male dominated, very rough, people smoking in the office, like it was just different. And that made me not want to be a real estate agent. That was not at the top of my career list, after kind of what I watched and listened to. So when I kind of came in, I came in as a default. I was a truck driver over the road, and that career was not what God had the purpose for me for. And I didn't have a college degree. I dropped out of Cleveland State. So I was like, all right, what could I do? Well, maybe I'll try this real estate thing out. And I went all in, got my real estate license, but there wasn't a lot of coaching available then. I did kind of latch on to Craig Proctor stuff early on, but I was just in survival mode. I didn't have anybody just helping me. So I was just like, I'm not going to quit. I'm never surrendering. And so that instinctual drive that I've had that's pushed me to the different levels of success kind of it lost its zing. And it couldn't be about just surviving or not surrendering anymore. There had to be a bigger purpose. And that's kind of what I was looking for last year. I you know, loaded my truck up and drove to Lake Tahoe, which from Cleveland is a 3 day drive. It's not a little drive. And on that, there was a book that I'm going to introduce you to called The Surrender Experiment. And the biggest lesson that came out of 2025 for me is that it's not my will be done, it's thy will be done. And yes, that is a reference to a Christian prayer that you've probably heard if you're a Christian. But it was huge for me because I was always like, okay, what do I need to do to get my will to be done right now? And it was the biggest thing was I needed to surrender. So like this was the trip I took from Cleveland all the way across to Lake Tahoe. Piled my truck in, me and my dog Snoop, that was it. And I went there looking for really like, okay, I was looking for an answer and I didn't even know what the question was. That was where I was at in my life. It wasn't about making more money. It wasn't about, growing the business. It was like, where can I find some peace in all of this right now? Because I felt like I was on a hamster wheel running and there was no stopping it. Because if I did stop, everything else was going to stop. And I needed to find that peace and that purpose. So the book that I listened to on the way was this book here by Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment. And the first time that I listened to it, it didn't really hit me because I couldn't, my unconscious mind was fighting this because my entire life, my my brain was wired to not surrender, to never surrender, like Churchill, right? And so I read the book or listened to the book, I should say, on the way out there. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to give this a second listen. And that's where things started really clicking, moving forward. It wasn't about fighting harder every single day. It was about surrendering deeper. Okay. And I found peace isn't the absence of problems. I wasn't running to Lake Tahoe away from problems. And it wasn't the absence of conflict or trauma or drama or any of that. Was my ability personally to just stay calm when the storm is raging around us. And if you're a full-time real estate professional, we know that calm really isn't anything that we experience. It's the opposite. It's chaos, right? We're being paid to keep calm in this while this storm of transactions and people not doing what they're supposed to do and promising to do this and they back out or whatever it is, dealing with co-brokes and inspectors and all this stuff. Peace is going to be found in our ability to stay calm in that, letting go of ego, letting go of control, reacting, and trying to prove myself that I can win every single battle. So it's not quitting. It's just trusting that God enough to stop forcing every outcome. And I mean, that's kind of like my synopsis of that book. I still recommend highly recommend if this is something that is you're making you curious to just get the book and read it because it's super powerful. And Michael Singer has another book that's called The Untethered Soul. And I actually have the flashcards for that. That's another one. If you like Michael Singer, those are the two you got to get. You will not be disappointed. In fact, I said I love Untethered Soul, just like clicked with me a lot faster than the Surrender Experiment. But I didn't bring that up into this presentation because it was really that surrender is where I found that peace. So why do we feel this way? A friend of mine's writing a book. It's not out yet, named Greg Clement. And he sent me the foreword and he talks about this thing called the machine. It's this concept. And the reason that we feel all this stress, anxiety, and all this pressure is because of these three gears. So the first gear is the factory. So this is where in our how we were formed from the time we were a child till up here. There's this factory. The factory is working on us, making us believe that we have to go in this direction. This is what's going on. I see this person doing this, so then I need to do 100 transactions, whatever it is. Or it's what our parents told us that we got to do as we're told, and the freedom to think freely wasn't really an option for a lot of us. Some of you maybe grew up differently, But most of us were like, okay, we need to be here and this time, do this when this, and we're not really taught to think freely. So that's the first one. The second one is these are gears in the machine, right? Is the noise. The noise we're all familiar with. When we when we click on that when we wake up in the morning, get our coffee and click on Facebook, that's where this noise or Instagram or any of these things, or we turn on the news and that's the noise that's constantly feeding us the information that they want us to feed. And that noise can be dangerous. It's a distraction from what our true purpose is. And the last one is the future. So the future is like we can't have this peace. We can't have what we're calling success unless we do this, and this. We have to be following what everybody else is doing. Otherwise, we can't. We have to get to 500 people on our revenue share organization. Then I can feel that success. Then I can feel that freedom and peace. And that's just a lie. We should be able to find that freedom, that peace, ultimately that happiness without having to think, okay, it's out there in the future. It's attainable, maybe, but I haven't gotten there yet. I need to get to 50 transactions um, a year, and then I can feel, then I can go on those vacations I want, right? Like then I can feel that sense of happiness that I want. So what I found is there's this. Has anyone heard the story, the parable of the two wolves that live inside of us? No hand up. No, yes, maybe.
No.
Okay, maybe no one's ever heard of the two wolves. Well, I'm not going to tell you that parable. I'm going to tell you that parable of two honey badgers. And what I found is there's two honey badgers living inside of us. Okay, you have the one over here on the left of your screen. If we feed that honey badger, we're gonna feel peace. We're gonna feel happiness, joy. If you feed this other guy on the right side, showing his teeth, well, you're gonna get the result of that. You're gonna get fear, anger, anxiety. And so my question to you is, on a daily basis, do we have an awareness of which honey badger we're feeding every day? Because going back to this example here, the noise that we see right here, that's gonna feed our guy on the right. The noise of that machine is just going to strengthen the honey badger or the wolf. That's the original story I stole this from. Okay. Feeding the right honey badger is everything. What are we putting into our brains on a daily basis? Is it a toxic news feed? Is it a toxic podcast that you're attracted to? I've been attracted to those. I've had to delete and just eliminate those from my daily routines. Is it music? What kind of music are you listening to? I love all kinds of music. In fact, I was just about to buy some tickets to this like hard rock, old school, with a lot of bands that I love in there. And I'm going to tell you guys, look, I love that music. I love country music. But when you start looking at the lyrics that we're popping into our brains on a daily basis, I mean, I go to the gym. Oftentimes I'm listening to the same playlist or I'm listening to the same podcast. And being able to, we're putting that into our brain, and it does have an effect whether we know it or not, whether we're conscious of it or not. What we put in, including the music, including the podcast, the news feeds, or the leaders that you're hanging out with, all has this effect. It's either going to feed the good honey badger on the left or the not so good honey badger on the right. And it's not like one is good or bad, really. They're both in us for a reason, but we need to starve the one on the left, the right over here. We need to starve the honey badger that's all inside of us. That's all it's going to do is lead to more anxiety. All it's going to do is lead to more fear, uncertainty, away from our purpose. But when we start to consciously start to shift away from that and shift toward feeding the good honey badger, now we're going to start feeling more feelings of calm, peace, love, happiness, and joy. You guys getting it? It's not rocket science. Here's how we beat the machine. We're going to beat this machine by using it against our, and there's many different ways. You know, I got into yoga and stuff like that. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I was like, my flexibility has been the worst part of my physical fitness for so many years. And I decided to change that at the ripe age of 52 by going to yoga. And it's amazing, right? So go to yoga, there's your lesson there. But I'm going to show you guys how I used it last year to beat the machine psychologically within my own mind. Okay. And here's how we do it. This is the go-to part. And I'm going fast through this. I hope you don't mind, Kathy, but I want to get through it and respect everybody's time and maybe leave some room at the end of this for some Q&A. So last year, um, part of this whole journey is when I got back from Tahoe, I do a concert every year for charity. And preparing for that gives me a lot of anxiety and stress. I love it. I love doing it when it's over and done, but it's a huge event. Almost 1,000 agents, lenders, and everyone from my area of Cleveland all gather. I hire a band. We do this whole big party, and it's a concert, and all the proceeds go to. It feels good to do it, right? But it gave me a lot of stress, and throughout that, I was having a lot of stress in my relationships. So I had a lot still, even after that trip. I thought that I had found it, wasn't quite there yet, and I went and was invited to speak on, it's called Build It See. Now, everyone probably heard of Brent Gove's Build event, right? Well, he stopped doing the big one in Dallas and he's broken them up into small builds. And I was invited to the one that Veronica Figueroa asked me to come speak at this ship. And I honestly did not want to go. I was in the worst mental state that I could probably even remember. And it was the last thing I wanted to do was stand up in front of a couple hundred people and try to act like a motivator here. I did not want to do it. I forced myself, put a presentation together, um, and what ended up happening was the last presentation was by Nick Krem. If you guys don't know Nick, look him up. He's not only a great friend of mine, but he was one of my I mentored him from out of high school. He was working for me as a caller for $9 an hour, and he's grown an AI institute with his brother. It's $1 million company right now, and he
We
did this
actually
presentation.
have him, Albie, we actually have him come in every month. He's been
Do
coming
you?
in probably a year and a half. He's been coming in and teaching our
So
people.
you
So
guys know Nick.
yeah, absolutely.
So
He's
you
amazing.
probably already have all these prompts, but I'm gonna go with it anyway because it was
No,
one of
go.
the biggest.
Yeah, no, no, no. I'm loving this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Nick
It's so
Nick
good.
does this presentation. This is just kind of like my little version of it, but this is he taught me this, and literally I completed this, just so everybody knows. When I was blown away by what he showed me, so much so that I took exactly what I'm going to show you, and on the plane ride from Florida back to Ohio, I had 3 songs completed, and here's how I did it. First of all, you got to get your paid version of ChatGPT and enter in these prompts. Ask me questions about myself until you have enough information to become my personal assistant, personal development coach, life coach, relationship coach. I needed that. Confidant, friend, faith advisor, and manager of my social media. Now, this part right here, I put in, this is my part. You can fill in your part. I'm a newly faith-based man with a purpose to serve my real estate community by giving back so much that it's given to me. Ask me one question at a time, but no more than 10. Now you can fill in your end. That's my version of this, but feel free to fill yours in at the end of that. Here's prompt number 2. This is huge. Okay. This is probably the biggest piece of it. Here are 3 things that I need to stop doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that is not serving me and bringing me closer to my purpose. This is where the rubber meets the road, everybody. And here's 3 things I need to start doing. So 3 things I need to stop, 3 habits I need to change, and here's 3 that I need to put in moving toward so I can move toward the highest version of myself. And I did the exercise. Here's what I put: drinking and self medicating, surrounding myself with the wrong people that are not in alignment with my higher self. Do you guys have somebody that's surrounding you that just happens to keep coming into your circle, whether you're inviting them or you're just showing up and that you just need to eliminate? Hit the delete button on that relationship because it's not serving you. I had to do that. I need to stop allowing fear, anger, and resentment to control my vibe and my soul. 3 things I needed to start doing was A, surrender, right? We just talked about all that. Thy will be done, not my will. I had to keep reminding myself of that amazing term that I said since I was in Catholic school in first grade. Thy will be done, right? Didn't get it then, but it all made sense after this. I needed to start waking up earlier. I committed. I'm going to watch every sun come up, the sunrise, and start doing more yoga and 10,000 steps and praying more and all these things. And I needed to start feeding my body the best supplements and food and stay away from some of the junk. Okay. Those were mine. And I have no problem sharing them with you. I'm pretty transparent. Um, Actually, transparency was another thing that I needed to work on, you know? And so, prompt number three, based on what you know about me, this is huge. Tell me a story. This is what you're telling your AI to do. Tell me a story of what my life will look like in 5 years if I knocked out my daily activities that I just told you every day. Paint a picture of the most grand version of myself, my business, my personal life, include specific examples of accomplishments, experiences I could have, and the feelings I would feel. How would I feel? And keep in mind the three habits that I need to start doing and the three habits I need to stop doing listed above, and anything else relevant. Okay. And I added this one to that last prompt. You make your own up on this one, but I said keep in mind we have a goal. I have a goal, Courtney and I, my fiance, of buying a home in North Lake Tahoe. Minimally, we'd like to spend 1 month in the winter snowboarding, taking a week-long trips in the summer, and hiking and boating. This is what I want to do. I had a goal of doing this, and I didn't know when it was going to happen. I just knew that was where my soul, my heart, everything was taking me. And then this one's going to be a tough one, everybody, but it's super important. And I really challenge you to do it. Based on everything you know, be brutally honest and tell me the story what my life's going to look like in 5 years if I don't stay consistent with my daily activities that I'm committing to. And I keep chasing new ideas and shiny objects instead of executing my proven plan. Paint a clear picture of the missed opportunities. Show me the version of myself that I could have become, but I didn't because I didn't stick to it. And what my business and personal life would realistically look like as a result. Include specific examples of accomplishments I'll never achieve and the impact I never made and the feelings of regret, frustration. So why is this one so important? It's because aren't we always, unfortunately, as human beings, attracted to the train, the car crash at the side of the road, and everybody's rubbernecking? What does the news do? That puts out negativity all the time, and we're somehow, for some reason, we're wired to we're attracted to it. If it was the other way around, we would turn on all the news channels out there and we'd see nothing but positive, good things, and we'd feel good after watching the news, but we don't because we're attracted magnetically to this negative aura that seems to be around us, and it makes money. So that's why they're doing it. Nobody's gonna buy advertisement from these media outlets, whether it be Facebook or CNN or Fox or any of these things, unless there's eyeballs. And the way they get the eyeballs best is putting in fear, anxiety. They feed the wrong honey badger inside of us every single day if you let them. So the next prompt, write an anthem song, an anthem like song for my life based on adopting the new positive habits and avoiding the negative toxic habits. Ask me questions one at a time until you have enough information to write the song. And we use Suno. So you're going to need to download the paid version of Suno. You can cancel it after you write your songs or whatever. And I'm going to share with you one of the three songs that came out. I had three songs before I got off that plane, and it's not going to happen on your first try. You're going to be like, "Oh, I don't like this one," and there's going to be a different one. It's fun to do. I want to warn you, you could go down a rabbit hole here, and because it does get fun if you're into it, right? But the goal here is to start to build something that's specifically customized to you based on your purpose, your goals, not what we're listening to on Spotify, not the podcasts that were favorite, not the news, not anything, all that noise we want to replace with something that's going to feed our brain, our soul, our minds, and bodies and souls with the with where our purpose is, not someone else's purpose for us. And this is taking control of you. And what I started doing is every morning on the gym, I wouldn't do anything different. I'd go to the gym every like I would do, but I wouldn't be putting on my favorite podcast. I wasn't putting on my favorite Spotify playlist. I was putting on my new playlist, which was these songs. So I'm gonna play a little cut of this one so you guys can kind of hear what came out of what I did. Kathy, let me know if you can't hear this.
Yeah. 5 years from now, I can see it so
Got
clear.
it.
North Lake Tahoe. Snow's falling slow. Snoop by the fire. Bible open. This one's for the ones who never stop believing. This one's for the king. Yeah. Woke up before the sunrise, coffee in my hand. Pray to the Lord, said I'm following your plan. Used to chase yachts, gold chains, and applause. Now I'm chasing peace, purpose in your cause. I was broken, had millions, but my soul fell hollow. Living for the next rush, every high hard to follow. But I heard that still voice said, son, let it go. You can't build a kingdom if you're drowning in the show. So I burned the old boat, let the tide take it under. Tore down the lies and the noise and the thunder. Now my fire rain ego. It's faith that's lit in this crown and I'm wearing. Yeah, the Lord made it fit from the valley to the mountain, from the fire to the flame. God turned my lost into a brand new name. I'm a kingdom man. Standing where I'm meant to stand. Peace in my heart and the Bible in my hand. From the end to the glory. Yeah, you are my glory. Every shot points back to his glory. I'm a kingdom man.
All right. So that was the first song that came of it that I felt was like that was my new hit, and I'm not going to play the whole song for the purposes of time here, but I'm going to play the second one. A little different vibe on this one.
Don't get it always. Sunrise bleeding in, kickstart my day. Coffee, hot dog, at
Turn
my
it up a
side.
little bit.
Me, baby, let that ego die. The cash, the cars, the flash, the fame. Put inside your stickles in a hollow name. Burn that whole life, set fire. Fast now. Building something built to last. They want the only that you're gone. I'm a king in this kingdom. I'm moving on. Making my veins, no more running scared. Honey, back to back. We're fully prepared. I'm the king.
All right, you guys get it? Man, just
Yeah.
hearing that, I'm telling you that hearing those songs still to this day, 9 months later, still gives me goosebumps. Why? When you listen to a song that you love over and over and over again, am I the only one that starts to maybe get sick of it after a little while? We're like, all right, I'm not gonna lie, that did that happen a little bit? Yeah, maybe. But like it still hits me. Why? Because these lyrics were literally built for me. I put those together. Now, it was written by AI, but it knew exactly where I was going. It knew exactly what I wanted to stop doing, where I wanted to start, what I wanted to start building and rebuilding my soul, my mindset to move forward, to reach my purpose. Why? Why do we want to be living within the realm of our purpose? So we can have peace, happiness every day, no matter whether I hit my goal or not. I'm still able to achieve that level of peace. So, anyways, I hope that that was helpful. And let's see here. Yeah. So, does everybody see where that could benefit them?
Yes.
Where
Yeah, absolutely.
pounding this into your brain versus the things that you're putting into your brain every single day. We have control over this, folks. It's just a decision. And that was my decision. I'm like, I'm going all in on this. Nick hit on something I don't even think he knew, because I'll tell you this, on that ship, there wasn't a dry eye The next day, everybody, a lot of people, like dozens and dozens of people in that room made their own songs. Now we're sharing our purpose with everybody in a very meaningful, directed, concentrated way. I've never, I've never really like gotten into the whole manifestation thing. I never got it. I never kind of like studied it, and therefore I was just like, oh, what's this? What's this? All these people talking about manifesting this and manifesting that. I didn't get it. And so I started playing these songs. And if you remember, I had this goal of buying a home in Lake Tahoe. And that was one of the reasons I kind of skipped this part. One of the other reasons I was going out there last year to live, I lived there for a year, for a month, and rented a house for a whole month and lived there, was to shop for some real estate. But I didn't find anything I liked. And, you know, I kind of just wrote it off. So when I was building all this, I put it in there like this is the goal, and I figured it was a good 5-year plan. If you listen to the lyrics in the first song I played for you guys, it started out by saying 5 years from now, I'll be in Lake Tahoe. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but it was part of the lyrics because that was part of what I wanted to do. But I kind of didn't have it on the cusp of it, and the property management company that I rented that house from, I liked the house so much I wanted to buy it. So I called them up and they're like, nah, she's not interested in selling it. I'm like, all right, I just wrote it off, out of sight, out of mind. And so I get a phone call, and the phone call was like September, October. It was actually, no, it was like probably like August. And it was from the broker. And he's like, hey, Al, I got some good news for you. She changed her mind. She wants to sell. And I'm like, cool. So I put an offer together, got my financing together, gave her a full price offer, and I hear crickets for a week. Now I want you guys to remember how I was wired, right? I was wired to like get what I want. All right. Well, oh, she didn't like my offer. Well, what do I need to do to make it happen? But this is where I finally found like this little exercise I taught you. I was doing it. How I'm like, wow, it worked. Because when he called me, I didn't have a reaction internally that was like, oh, this sucks. I didn't get the house. I was like, well, thy will be done, not my will be done. I just kept repeating it. And, I just let it go. It was so weird. And I don't mean to get weird on you guys, but like, it was so different than how I was wired to operate for so many years and decades that I noticed it. I hung the phone up. I'm driving in my truck and I'm like, what just happened? Holy shit, I just surrendered. And that was just kind of the beginning of it proving to me that it works. So going back to the manifestation part, I let it go. I just said, thy will be done. And sure enough, it was. I get another phone call. He's like, hey, I found something I think you should like. I flew out there with my sister, and we closed on this house right here that you're looking at. And it was without my force. I didn't force this. This just came to me. You can call it manifestation. You can call it reprogramming. I don't have a label for this. I just know that this is what was meant to be. And it wasn't my will. I willed it into existence by putting the right things into my brain on a daily basis, consistently, without fail. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So kind of in just ending this, and I'll open it up for any questions or comments, or we can be done, whatever you all like. But as honey badgers, we don't comply. We don't wait. We create and we beat this machine together. And by following this, we feed our honey badger soul. And that's what I got for y'all today.
Oh, 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 hey. Out here on the grind, chasing dreams in the sun. From the Gulf to the hills, yeah, we're